Hello, and welcome back for the next episode of our alumni interview series, Brewer Reflections. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Cydni Matsuoka, a member of the class of 2014 and a former standout on the women's basketball team. So, as was the case with all of our episodes so far, I want to take a moment for a quick humble brag about Cydni's career, given how outstanding it was. So to start with, she helped the Brewers to a 78-33 overall record in her career, including 3 Liberty League championship titles, 2 trips to the NCAA tournament, and the most wins in a season with a 23-6 mark during her senior year in 2013-14. Individually, Cydni remains the all-time record holder in 12 records, both career and seasonal, including most career points, most career field goals, most three-pointers made, most career steals, and most career assists. So a 4-time All-Liberty League first team selection, she was a 6-time All-American, the D3Hoops.com National Rookie of the Year, a 2-time Liberty League Player of the Year, the Liberty League Rookie of the Year, a 2-time ECAC Upstate Player of the Year, a 4-time All-Region selection, a 2-time NCAA Division III season statistical champion, and a Jostens Trophy finalist. So I could go on and on because there's probably more that I'm forgetting, but I'm going to stop there and actually let Cydni speak. So Cydni, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So to start off, I'm wondering if you could tell us what brought you to Vassar College?
Yeah, so back when I was considering schools, I was kind of going back and forth between do I want to go to a bigger university or kind of a smaller school. I knew I wanted to continue playing basketball, so I was recruited to play basketball by Vassar, and I'll be honest, that was actually the first time I'd actually heard of the college. I'm from California, so I never really even considered coming out to the East Coast for school. And so ultimately, when I got to Vassar on my recruiting trip, which is my first time in New York, I really liked kind of that smaller community feel that the school had. And I felt like I wasn't just kind of a face in a crowd of like 300 people in a classroom. So that, and then, obviously met the team and found a coach that really believed in my basketball abilities. So you couple that with just the overall academic reputation that Vassar has, you knew I would get a really good education, and that pretty much just kind of sealed the deal for me.
So you've kind of alluded to this a little bit already, but what made your experience at Vassar so special?
Yeah, I think a few things. Obviously, just the people that I met there, right? Just the friends that I created and the relationships that have continued even beyond Vassar. I think just that experience with them made my time so special. I always feel like college is kind of just like one giant slumber party for 4 years with your best friends, where you're just having a great time and you're learning and also playing your sport. So for me, that was just a special thing. I think as well as too, just the overall success that our basketball program had, just the growth from what we were my freshman year to when I graduated. I was just really, really fortunate to have been a part of that process.
So, yeah, so what exactly did your time as a student athlete mean to you?
A lot of things. I think first thing that comes to mind is a sense of pride. Just being proud to be a collegiate student athlete. And I think regardless if you're Division I, II, III, NAIA, whatever it is, I mean, not everyone is cut out to be a collegiate athlete. And especially at a school like Vassar, where academics are tough, right? Professors aren't going to cut you any slack on an assignment just because you have a big game coming up. So, to be able to accomplish that is a sense of pride for me. And then it just takes a lot of discipline to be a student athlete. I think as a student athlete at Vassar, you're not just trying to get through your time, playing your sport, but you're trying to excel at both areas. So taking your studies really seriously, excel as being a student, as well as trying to be the best you can within your sport. It takes a lot of discipline. And so I think for me, just being a student athlete is a sense of pride and discipline.
Absolutely. So this is going to be a tough one. So I obviously listed off an incredible quick resume that doesn't even really scratch the surface. So what I want you to do is talk to me about your favorite memory at Vassar, and it can be sport or non-sport. It's a tough one, but there's got to be one there.
I feel like I get asked that question a lot, and I give a different answer every time.
That's like, okay.
That's in my head. If I had to pick, I think one kind of peak moment or something I'll never forget. It was definitely the win against Williams in the NCAA first round my senior year. That had been like a goal of our team for so long. So to be able to accomplish that my senior year was really big. I think it was, just a testament to how hard we worked, and not even just within that season, but over the course of my entire time there. Every player that came before me had some hand in getting us to that successful point, right? To be competitive, not only just within our conference, but competitive nationally. And that was really, one of our goals throughout the whole time. So to be able to finally not just make the NCAA tournament, but to win a game and show that we can compete nationally was really special for me. And like I said, to do it my senior year, when it's kind of, it's a do or die situation, right? Once we lose, it's, my basketball career is done. It's not come back and try again. So that was definitely something I had wanted to accomplish my entire time there. So to do it my senior year was special, and I'll never forget.
Absolutely. So a little bit of a different question, but kind of on the same path. I mean, obviously, your squad for your 4 years is probably one of the most successful squads in Vassar basketball history. And I think it really, and tell me what you think about this, but I feel like your program in that era really kind of set the stage for where Vassar basketball, women's basketball has come now. So for you, what do you think that group, that team's lasting impact has been, up to today's squad and the success that they're having?
Yeah, I mean, I think a big thing is just changing the mindset and culture of our program. I think we really valued coming together as a team and treating ourselves like a family, which we really became, like a one big family. And that calls for holding each other accountable when we're slacking on certain things, and picking each other up when we're down, and celebrating together as one unit, regardless of who had the best game or not, right? So we win and lose as a team, and we hold each other accountable. And I think that culture kind of bred for bringing in people who buy into that as well. A lot of the success of college sports is recruiting and who you bring in. And so continuing to grow and foster that kind of mindset, starting that from when kids come in as the freshmen, and keeping that going throughout the years, I think is important in keeping success in a program. And I think, the coaching staff has done a great job of continuing to kind of breed that mindset and culture.
Absolutely. And so for you, how did your athletic experience, so obviously, it's really hard to overlook how incredible you were at Vassar. How did your athletic experience at Vassar shape your future?
I think in a lot of ways. I mean, I could probably list a lot of things. I think sports in general, right, just teaches you a lot about yourself individually, as a leader, as a teammate, and it teaches you a lot about how to navigate through life. How do you interact with teammates? How do you interact with coaches, which eventually leads to, your colleagues and bosses, right? So I think a lot of that just having to learn how to navigate through that within the sports world kind of helped prepare me for how to try and be successful later on in life.
Yeah, so that actually leads me really well into my next questions, which I'm going to combine is, what path did you take right after graduation, and what are you doing now?
Yeah, so right after I graduated, I went to physical therapy school, which is a 3-year doctorate program. So I graduated in 2017, and then I've been a physical therapist ever since. So I'm currently living in Brooklyn right now. I work at an outpatient orthopedic clinic in Midtown Manhattan, and it's cool because I'm working with people every day, and not everyone's an athlete, but a lot of my patients are athletes or want to get back to playing some sort of sport. So to be on this end of it and in trying my best to get people as healthy as they can be and get back to doing what they love is challenging, but also very rewarding.
That's amazing. It really is. So in terms of, so I really want to think this next question as Vassar as the whole experience that you had, but what is the lasting impact that Vassar had on your life, not just athletics wise?
Yeah. I think it just created a very strong network of people. I think the Vassar community is a great resource to have on your side. I think it kind of goes back to your earlier question about what made my time special at Vassar. It's the people, right, and the relationships that you build and continue to have. And so I think it's really cool whether you think about the Vassar community as a whole, right, and then you can break it down to even a smaller subset of the Vassar student athlete population. I think we all feel very strongly bonded because we were all student athletes at Vassar. And then just even within my team, just that network of people and how we consider ourselves family. And my teammates and I, we're still in great contact. We actually have an alumni group chat that we all, like, someone will post something in every other day or so, but it's cool to still keep in touch and have those relationships, even though we've all kind of gone our separate ways personally and professionally. And then you always know that you have a group of people that you can call on that have your back.
That's really true. I mean, connections, it doesn't matter where or what, whether it's sport or whether it's just being in school, having those connections really are just so important in the long run. Obviously right now, the culture that we're in, COVID, racial justice, it's, as you can expect, it's really hard for the Vassar students right now, and for most college students, because their college experience looks nothing like what I think any of them would have ever anticipated. And, for you, obviously, you graduated in 2014. I'll shamelessly admit I graduated way back in 2003. I talked to somebody the other day that was 1997. So we all have our challenges, and we all have, kind of those bumps in the road. Obviously, today's college experience looks a lot different. So what advice or thoughts do you have for current Vassar students during this kind of crazy time?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a really tough time, and everyone is dealing with it in their own way, rightfully so. I think my best advice is something that I'm trying to even follow myself right now, which is to try and just maximize this time we have. I think a lot of us are finding that we may have a little more downtime than we did in the past. And if you do find that you're having some downtime, just try and maximize that time. Try and make yourself better in something, whether it be just kind of picking up a hobby that you never had time, to do before, or educating yourself on what's going on in the world right now. Or if, even within your sport, like if working on getting stronger, faster, developing a skill, or, reaching out to your family members more, or friends, or whatever it is, being a better teammate. Just try and pick something and maximize your time right now, because I think the people that do that right now and don't let 2020 just kind of be a wasted year, which a lot of us, we all kind of joke that 2020 just feels like a wasted year and we're just trying to get through it. But if you can actually kind of use this time right now to make yourself better, then you'll come out of 2020 a better person.
That's outstanding advice. I mean, really, not just for college students, but pretty much anybody who is struggling, to get through this year and to find the good in this year. That's really outstanding advice. Cydni, I can't tell you what an absolute pleasure it was to be able to talk with you and reminisce about Vassar. Just really appreciate it. For everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time with our next Brewer Reflection.